Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. We are going to do a hips and glutes workout. I had a request a couple weeks ago for exercises that build up the glutes. As you can tell, I don't have the most endowed peach, and that's okay. It's important to strengthen and work our glutes because they help support our hips for us ladies. After all, they're ball and socket joints, a lot of movement going on there. We want to stabilize them as best as possible. And then for all of us, it helps to keep our spine tall anytime we strengthen the muscles along our posterior chain. So today we're going to get into some glute and hip strengtheners and stretches to help your whole backside look and feel good. Let's get started sitting down, a little crisscross applesauce. Sitting up nice and tall, this is just to encourage some opening in the hips. We sit square all day long, and so just opening up the hips can feel really nice. We're going to take a couple forward folds, so reach your arms up, and then start to fold over your legs, and you might stop here and say, Lizzie, that's way too much for me. That's okay. Maybe you continue to go further, and you bring your chest closer down to your thighs, as long as you keep the spine long. Coming back up. Take this time to switch the crossing of your legs. We tend to have a dominant leg that is always in front. For me, that's actually my left leg is dominant. So just bring that wonky feeling leg in front, keep that balance in the body. Again, another cross-legged forward fold. Arms reach up, tippy toe those fingertips out on the second side. You might not be able to go as far down, and that's okay. We're not worried necessarily about bringing our chest all the way down to the ground, right? Awesome, and walk back up. Join me in a tabletop position. Stacking your joints. Let's bring some heat into the hips now. We'll start with the right leg. Lift your right knee up in line with your hip like you're a doggy on a fire hydrant. And I know this pose is not cute, but guess what, guys? It's really effective. We're strengthening that outer hip, that abductor muscle, and that's what helps keep our glutes strong and also prevents hip injuries. I know this from experience. And when you feel like you can't hold that leg up anymore, start to give yourself some circles with that right knee, bringing the knee in, out, and up. That should feel so good. Switch the direction, move your knee out in the opposite way. At this point, you might be hearing some snap, crackles, and pops coming out of those hip joints. That's fine. Good. Let's all stop the next time that the heel is up towards the ceiling and knee is in line with the hip. We're going to strengthen the glute, that little tiny smile underneath our tush. We want to get that stronger so we have a perkier tush, but then also so we strengthen the connection from hamstring into glutes. So start to lift and lower your heels up a couple times. And you can feel it working, really squeezing the glute at the top before lowering it back down. A couple more. Good, and release that right knee. Let's take a quick child's pose before we do the left side because my right hip is burning and I'm sure yours might be too. Press your hips back, reach your arms forward, maybe bringing your knees wider than mat's width. Feeling the openness in the adductors, that's the inner thigh muscles. That should feel really good. And let's do the same thing on the left side. Come on guys, back up to all fours. This time, lifting that left leg up, knee in line with the hip. I unfortunately had a dance injury from doing ballet when I was younger, so my left hip, even though that's my dominant side, this is a lot more difficult for me. And we always have differences between our right and left sides, and we're gonna be okay with that. We're not gonna judge. We're gonna keep breathing deep, and we're gonna keep smiling because we're making those abductor muscles on the left leg so strong. Okay, I don't think I can hold it anymore. I'm gonna start those circles, right? So knee in, out, back and around. Oh, that feels so good. I don't even care whatever weird noises are coming out of my body right now. And just circling that around, trying to make it fluid, trying to make it really big and expansive. Switch directions, move your left knee out in the opposite way. Good, so outer hips getting a lot of work today. Doing some of the strength here. Some mobility, some stretch. Stop the next time that your knee is in line with your left hip. Keep hugging your low belly in. And then lift your left heel up half an inch and then lower it down. We're focusing on lifting up, squeeze, and then lower. It's tiny isometric movements. Doing that a couple times. Feeling the squeeze at the top, lowering it back down. Awesome job. Lower that left knee back down. Once again, sink into child's pose. Let your hips stretch out. I like to balance everything in my sessions with strength and stretch. That's gonna prevent us from getting injured and help us go deeper into our bodies. So take this child's pose. Maybe knees are even wider than before, maybe not. Noticing what you feel in the hips. They're gonna keep getting more open and flexible as we go on. And then come back up. Good. Continuing on. Lower down onto your forearms. Extend your right leg back behind you, and then start to lift your leg up until, again, ankle, knee, and hip are all in one line. Bring that right foot over to the corner of your mat, and then start to lift and lower just like we did before. We'll do this 9 more times. 8, 7, 6, we're breathing, we're smiling. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Hold that leg up there. We're getting so strong. Rotate your hip open now, and then bring your knee forward back into that doggy fire hydrant, and then kick that heel out at a diagonal. So this can be termed a deli slicer. This is so good for sculpting the glutes and getting the hips nice and strong. We'll do 4 more of those. Right knee comes in, and then push it out at that diagonal. Awesome job. 3 more times, bring it in. The burn is so real. Push it back out. 2 more times, pull it in, hold, keep that knee lifted. That's a really big component. Push it out, and last time. Good, bring that knee in, and then lengthen it back out. Awesome job. Right knee lowers down. Moving into the left side right away. That's why we're on our forearms, so we're protecting the wrist a little bit. Extend your left leg back out behind you. Lift it up. Ankle, knee, hip alignment. Try and tuck that left hip under so you're not opening up right away. That'll come later. Then moving the leg out at a diagonal. And we're gonna be lifting and lowering. 9 more times up and then down. Try and keep your toes flexed. 8 more. Come on. 7. Hug low belly in. 6. 5. 4. 3, 2, 1. Good. Here's where we open the hip up now. So rotating it open, that's hard. That's a lot of work for our hip to contend with. It's getting stronger. We're building those outer glutes. Draw that knee in for our deli slicers. Kick it back out at that diagonal. Keep hugging low belly in. Keep the core engaged the entire time. We have 4 more to bang out. Let's do it together. Left knee in. Try and keep the knee lifted. It's so hard for me on the second side. Push out that leg. Good. 3. Push it out. 2 more. Pull it in. And push it out. Good. Last time. Pull and hold. Squeeze. There's a little bit of oblique work there as well. Push that left leg out. Lower it down. Awesome job, y'all. Left knee comes down. Come all the way up. Let's go ahead and give our hips a little bit of a stretch before we work on some more strength. So coming down to sit, one of my favorite outer hip openers is cow's face legs. I don't really necessarily care so much for the arms because there are other good arm stretches we can do. We're not really focusing on arms today. It's all about down here. We'll start with our left knee facing the front, and then we're gonna try and bring our right ankle up and over. And if you're like, dude, this is as far as I go, that's fine. Don't push yourself. You might already be feeling a little stretch in the outer hip. That's what we're trying to access. Again, the abductors that we've been doing so much work on. I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna walk my left foot over, see? And I'm gonna walk right foot over, right? Good. And so right now, knees stacked over knee, and I'm definitely feeling a little something something here in the outer hips. You can stop here. If this feels good, or if this is starting to get towards that like point, don't go any further. Stay here sitting upright, and that's fine. For me, I need a little deeper stretch in those outer hips. My hips are so loosey-goosey, and I need to open up that outer space because it does get so tight from all the sitting I do from writing content all day long. So I'm gonna do a forward fold over the legs. And just like how we started this session, you stop when you feel it. You don't have to have chest down towards the leg to get that sensation. It's more about what you feel and less about how you look, right? So you might be looking completely different from me in this pose, and you might be really feeling that stretch, and that's what we're looking for. Good, come back up. Let's switch out sides. So now that's right knee underneath, left foot crossing up and over. Again, notice the difference between the right and left sides of your body, especially in those hips. Be okay if this is as far as you get on the second side. For me, I'm gonna walk foot out, walk foot out. Good, creating that cow's face pose shape. Left knee over right, maybe it's not stacked and that's fine. On the second side, I'm definitely feeling more. So I'm only gonna walk my hands out till about here. This is when I feel this stretch here in that outer hip space. It is important to try and keep your spine long the entire time. If you're just like, I want to round over, and you do some of this, well, you're not getting the same stretch as if you point your tailbone back behind you and you keep the spine long. After all, the muscles of our low back, our hips and our hamstrings are all interconnected. So we want everything to be firing on all cylinders together so we don't injure. Good, when you feel like you've spent enough time on the second side, come back up, release the legs. Let's come to stand for our last strengthening pose. We're going to be doing a sumo squat. I love this one because it not only works the adductors, it's a good stretch for the adductors as well. So come stand on up with me. Adjust as needed. Good. Bring your feet anywhere from 3, maybe 4 feet apart, depending on the openness in your hips. Start to bend your knees. And then press your knees back behind you as if you're doing a warrior 2. So if we look down, we could see the first 2 toes on either foot. If we push the knees in, number 1, we're not strengthening glutes. It's all about glutes and hips today. And then we're also perhaps injuring our knee by putting too much pressure on it. So keep those knees back. Good. Bring your hands to the center of your chest. What a great place to be. And then straighten your legs out and then sink right back down. Good. How good does that feel, right? It's a lot, it's intense. Go lower each time. We have 4 more just like that. Straighten the legs out, be appreciative of that length, and then bend back deep, a little deeper this time. Good, 3 more, straighten it out. Notice how long your spine is. Bend back, and don't let your spine round forward. It's a challenge. 2 more times, you guys. Lengthen out, reach long through the crown of your head. Bend a little bit deeper in those knees. Keep pushing them open. Feel the stretch in the groin and in the inner thigh adductors. Straighten out. And last time for funsies, we're gonna hold it here. We're gonna reach the arms out to either side. That makes it somehow so much harder because now you're trying to balance. You can see the stabilizing muscles in my ankles working so hard. Really nice job. Straighten everything out. Tick-tock your hips out, shake them out a second. Let's do 1 more stretch for the outer hips, for the low back, to help reset everything after all the strength we did. We're going to do reclined pigeon, one of my favorites. So come on down to the mat. Let me go ahead and take this off over here. Good. Laying down, cross your right ankle by your left knee. And then hug your left leg into the chest. This one feels so good. This is also a really great pose to do to help relieve any sciatic nerve tension. You're pushing your right elbow, or isometrically with your mind, pushing your right knee open with the strength of your hip. Good. Lower that left foot down, hands next to hips. Lift those hips up, keep your ankle glued, feel your tush squeezing together. So we're trying to get that nice shape from the low back into the upper butt, pressing the mat down, keeping the legs and hips lifted. Straighten that right leg out. And then we're going to do 3 hip dips. Lower your hips down, they hover. Lift them back up. 2 more, this is so hard for me, I'm shaking. Lower the hips down, keep pressing through that left heel. Right heel's reaching up to the ceiling, lift up. Awesome job, you guys, last time. Lower, let the hips hover. Press and kick your heel through the ceiling, and then lower your right ankle and foot down. Oh my goodness. Let's do recline pigeon on the left. Left ankle crossing by right knee. Figure 4 in the legs. Left hand reaches through that 4 you just made to pull onto thigh, maybe shin. As you draw the legs in, everything in yoga is paradoxical. So we're trying to push now the tailbone down to the mat. So there's that resistance there, and that's how we get the stretch in the outer left hip. Alrighty, last little bit of strength. Lower that right heel down. Hands down to the mat for a variety of bridge. Lift the hips up, squeeze that tush, and you might even feel a stretch across the left hip. That might feel really nice. Keep lifting, lifting, lifting. Straighten that left leg out, and here go our 3 hip dips, and then we are done. You're doing so awesome today. Let the hips lower. They're barely an inch off the mat. Squeeze the tush, send that left heel through the ceiling. 2 more times, guys. Lower the hips down. They're hovering, belly is squeezing. Lift back up, and last time, draw those hips low to the mat. Keep flexing the toes on the left foot. Keep sending that left leg really long. That's strengthening all the muscles along the left leg. Lift back up, squeeze. Good. And then lower left foot back down. Touch the soles of your feet together. Let your knees open up. Give yourself a passive hip opener here. Maybe you place your right hand on your belly, your left hand on your heart, just to check in with yourself. Whew. See how you're doing. Maybe you are out of breath like me. Maybe this was a breeze, in which case you can teach my next class. Right now we're just aligning body, mind, spirit, and breath. Take a deep inhale together. Exhale, side out. Good. Coming all the way back up to sit. Congratulations, you made it through a hip and glute workout. For me, a pretty intense one anyways. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week on my channel, Lizzie DeLacy. Please like and comment on this video if you want me to do more sessions like this, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for a new video every single week. I appreciate each and every one of your views, and I'll see you again soon.